and welcome along to the Christmas webinar. So actually, funnily enough, it's been 12 months since we did the Christmas webinar last year, but that was the first one we did officially with the stable, Robbie.
Funny how it's 12 months since Christmas, Corey. 1-1.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was the first webinar we did for the stable, was the Christmas one last year. So and it was well received. Hopefully we still have the same people following 12 months on.
Yeah, it's gone quick and it's been a fantastic year. Been a really good year for our first full year of the partnership, and kicked off the first part of the racing season really well. It was really great to get Hal Warson winning in the spring, and then winning the Cranbourne Cup was very special to myself, being a Cranbourne lad. So very happy about that. And it's exciting watching the young ones that we bought from the Magic Millions this time last year, watching them go through their paces as they prepare for the autumn 2-year-old riches. So without stealing too much thunder, because Matt, I want to talk about them too, but it's exciting, Matt, isn't it?
Very exciting, Robbie. But yeah, you stole all the thunder. Thanks very much.
Sorry. Well, Corey let me in, so anyway.
Yeah, I know. As long as this picture of us is of the same shape in 12 months from now, we'll be all good.
Yeah, you are looking healthy there. So up in the sunshine, that's coming up soon, Matt, as the Magic Millions. So we will touch on that later in the webinar. But we'll kick off with the Spring Carnival runners. So we were speaking about the fact in the last webinar that we probably had a fairly quiet, small team going to the Spring Carnival, and it's probably next year's Spring Carnival that we're aiming for. And we had a few horses coming back for the summer, but we only had a small team. But wow, did we punch above our weight, Matthew?
Oh, you're talking to me, sorry, Corey.
Yeah.
I know. So, we had a successful Spring Carnival. Like you say, we didn't have many runners, but actually our percentage of places to runners was very high. You know, we had Tisma Bay performing very well, the Gagnia, Daily Bugle, King Magnus was only a length off in the Kantala, and then obviously Halvorsen winning was very special for us. So overall, I think it went very well.
And Robbie, I guess, did that exceed your expectations? I know that going into the Spring Carnival, you were excited about all the young horses coming through, but you did understand, and we spoke about it at the stable, that it probably was going to be a little bit of a quiet Spring Carnival, but it didn't really end up that way, did it?
No, you're quite right. We knew we had very, very few bullets to fire, because we intentionally didn't want to run many of the young ones. We wanted them to have a second spring in the paddock, because we thought that'd be far more beneficial to their development. So we only ran 3 2-year-olds, and they handled themselves very, very well. So we had very minimal 3-year-olds, and Daily Bugle and Tisma Bay were very good, and Gunner Dancel had a few little issues. And the older horses we had very minimal, but Hal Warson was sensational, and King Magnus nearly won Group 1. So for the very, minimal amount of activity we had, I thought our horses did the stable very, very proud.
And since the Spring Carnival's finished, Matt, a few of our younger ones have come back in, and a few of the stable favourites have come back in, and we're looking like we're not far away from a few winners. We've had a few winners, of course, Invincible Crown, Halvoya the other day, and we've been punching above our weight there. But we've had a massive string of seconds and thirds, which show we're going in the right way. Frustrating at times, though, for you.
Yeah, frustrating, but a lot of those seconds and thirds are horses coming from layoffs and spells. So I think those places are going to turn into winners. And I reckon, over this Christmas, New Year period, we could have a very successful, 2 to 3 weeks.
Let's hope so. And Robbie, what's impressed you the most out of the horses that have returned post Spring Carnival?
Oh, I think what Matt said then is that, they can't win all the time, but they've got their hoof on the till, so to speak. They're working towards a winning run. So once they find their right distance and their right peak conditions, and all the boxes are ticked and aligned for them, there's several of the horses in work at the moment that are about to have a winning streak, like we've seen with Invincible Crown. He was tracking in the right direction, and all of a sudden things work for him, and you've got win-win. So there's some nice young horses that are going to do the same in the upcoming, New Year period.
Yeah, and we will, with tonight's webinar, we've tried to leave it a little bit blank. We'd like our participants to shoot and throw as many questions as possible about the sales period coming up, or your horses that are going to be running soon, or whatever you might want to ask Robbie and Matt before Christmas. But funny story, Robbie, about us finishing in the top 4. I was been going to the Moonee Valley since we opened back up every Friday with our clients and with Matthew, and it was actually race 1 I just happened to be watching while we were waiting for our horse, and I noticed a whole heap of horses coming off the track and going straight up the chute. And it was the first time, and I've been going for 4 weeks solid, it was the first time that I realised that horses don't all go to those first 4 boxes for footage after the race. And I realised that I'd been standing in the wrong spot if our horses didn't finish in the top 4. But luckily, every single horse we've sent there recently has finished in the top 4.
And there you go, you've been spoiled.
Yeah, very much so. So we'll go into the summer period. So Matt, going into the summer period, obviously you've got horses that you're looking to get wins with now, but probably the more exciting part of this summer period is there's a lot of our 2-year-olds starting to hit the trials and hit the jump outs, and a few did that this morning with their first jump out, and obviously we've had some that have had jump outs previously, and there's some pretty exciting horses coming through, isn't there?
Yeah, Corey, in the morning, when you look around, you don't know whether to look left or right, because there's just so many nice horses in the type stalls, and that we're saddling up and legging jockeys on every morning. Every horse that's going out on every load, there's nice ones there. So it's extremely exciting. We keep banging on about it, but it is the honest truth that I'm sure Robbie will be testament to this. It could be one of Robbie's most exciting crops of 2-year-olds. For me, it's very exciting. It's our first crop of 2-year-olds that we picked together. And you saw this morning the Speed filly and the Magnus filly. They both jumped out extremely well. They look like impressive young horses, and they got so much upside to them. So the strength of the youth in the team is right up there with as good as I've seen for a while. So really happy.
Yeah, and some of those horses as well, on top of the young ones, the 2-year-olds and unraced horses, Robbie, there's a few lightly raced horses like Miss Bank Place and those types of horses coming back now and looking quite strong in the jump outs.
Yeah, and they're horses that have won before, been Metropolitan placed, and they're coming into their sort of 4-year-old seasons or lightly raced 3-year-old seasons like Frontari and so on that we've seen return to the track last Friday night, that can evolve over that 3- and 4-year-old summer New Year period, that'll get their chance to hit their mark and develop into, that Christmas New Year winning time frame for them, and we're seeing, Hard Squeeze evolve into a nice off-season mare. She's been really good, and Hasseltoff was very unlucky being trapped wide, and he can evolve into a New Year winner like he did this time last year. And we're sort of seeing those horses, they just need a touch of luck getting the right barriers and the right conditions. That the New Year period should be quite fruitful for those horses as they're maturing.
Yeah, and Robbie, I'll touch base with you on this. Over the years, you've been the number 1 Vobis trainer, and this period in particular has a lot of Vobis riches, and a lot of people, we have spoken about it before, but there's still a lot of owners and people out there that don't quite understand the Vobis system. If you could sort of touch on how that works and why it's been so fruitful for you over the years.
Well, it sort of stands for Victorian Owners Breeders Incentive Scheme, and it originated many years ago when the prize money wasn't as fruitful as it is now, and it gave an opportunity for the Victorian breeders that might not have sold their horses for as much money as they would have liked, and a second chance, so to speak, to get an income stream down the track. So they had faith in their product that they bred. So when that particular product, he or she, won on the track as they were 2 or 3 years of age, they got a bonus. So hence the reason it's a Victorian Owners Breeders Incentive Scheme. So it gave them the incentive to breed a really nice horse, and if they had to, sell the horse, whether it was at a profit or a break even, they had a second chance to earn money, and also it was an incentive for the Victorian owner to buy a Victorian bred horse, and the trainer to recommend the ownership group to buy a Victorian bred horse. So it was a win-win for every part of a Victorian owner, trainer, and breeder to do so. So as it evolved and as it become more lucrative, next minute, there was 3 tiers of income. There was your traditional prize money that you see each and every day in the race book. Then there was VOBIS, which was a 70-20-10 breakdown of first, second, and third. And then there was VOBIS Gold on top of that, also broken down 70-20-10. And so next minute, it becomes three lots of revenue for the owners. So along the way, some of the horses that we trained all of a sudden amassed a lot of money, and these are in races that are non-black type. So it's very, very difficult to get a horse that can run in black type races. So next minute, these particular horses are winning, off-season races on whether it be a winter Saturday or whether it be an off-season Saturday like during the Christmas New Year period. And you find they're starting to win in today's money, $500,000 by the time they've collected a few wins and a few placings, and they're getting into their end of their 3 and 4 year old career, and all of a sudden they've incomed a lot of money for their ownership group, and it gives them the opportunity to go back and buy again and again and again. So once you get this self-funding model happening, all of a sudden Victorian racing's gone from strength to strength, and now we see it being the best state of income stream in Australia. Hence the reason everyone wants to be here, Corey, from all the international trainers that want to move to Australia. It's because of Victorian racing, and hence the reason why Matthew de Kock is now in partnership with Griffiths Racing. So it's been a great scheme that's really put Victorian racing in neon lights, so to speak.
Yeah, a good example is Invincible Crown on Friday night. It's a benchmark 64. He's progressing through the grades, and it was, I think, 30,000 for the winner, and he ended up getting prize money of around 60, I think, which was...
Yeah, and the advertised value of the race was 60, and he ended up getting 60-something himself,
Yeah.
And I think when Hal Vorson won his 3-year-old race at Moonee Valley as a young horse, he earned something like 130 or 40 or 50,000 first prize to him, So because then you got all those super gold races, and I think there was a horse several years ago that won close to $1 million in prize money without winning a listed race by going through all of those gold races. And you'll see them now. You have these super gold races. You got the Showdown Series in April, and and so on. There's a 2-year-old one, and there's a 3-year-old one, and a 4-year-old one, and so on. So it's been an unbelievable scheme that the government back it, and now it's very well run. And James O'Brien is now president of the Super VOBIS and so on. It's been very well run.
Yeah, and actually, for those interested, Ozhorse Marketing sent out something this week, so it's worth looking up, and it shows why investing in Australian racing, and obviously Victorian in particular, is so lucrative at the moment. It's 72 races we have that are worth $1 million plus, and the closest to us, I think, was 30. So we're above double the $1 million races in the world. So, Matt, obviously, being new or relatively new to Victoria, it's pretty amazing the VOBA scheme. And I guess a few years ago, everyone went to the Hunter Valley to get the best stock, whereas now Victoria, because of these types of schemes, there's some top quality stallions in Victoria.
Yeah, well, Corey, it's one of the reasons that I'm here. This is the strongest racing jurisdiction pound for pound anywhere in the world. So I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, and I wouldn't want to own a horse anywhere else. It's very rewarding, and I think people can have a lot of fun with it too.
Yeah, and just with everyone that's online now, if you have any 2-year-olds or young lightly raced horses and you want to know what's happening with them, throw questions at us throughout. So I've got a couple there, and I'll answer them when we get to question time. So finally, Matt, before we move to the next bit, international sires in the stable. We do have a pretty multicultural stable in terms of the trainers, but also our horses. So we have American Pharaohs, we have Arrogates, we have all sorts of different pedigrees in the stable. What have you made of the international sires that are in our stable at the moment?
Yeah, Corey, I think that we bought extremely well. In this previous sale season, if you look at, we bought a Maurice, and the Maurice came out and won the Derby. So the Maurices actually might be quite difficult to get your hands on in the upcoming season. And we bought 2 American Pharaohs that myself and Robbie are really chuffed about the way they are going. So we'll be looking at the American Pharaohs very strongly in the upcoming sale, and the Highland Reel. He's a really smart horse as well. I think Highland Reel in the next season we'll get even better value, because he hasn't really had many runners. He had a runner in the Maribyrnong that Legagna ran in, and he was not far behind Legagna. I think it was only a length behind him. So that's extremely impressive for a sire that's going to breed a horse to probably be a better 3-year-old and 4-year-old. The Arrogates, obviously, there's not many Arrogates on sale. But these international sires were superstar racehorses. So they got to be able to reproduce that. And, we think they're great value. And it's just it's another yardstick in our stable. And it's just part of our buying scheme is to give people options and value for money.
Yep. And it fits in with everything that we're trying to do. Legagna himself is a Chalar French sire. So,
yeah.
Which they'll be hard to buy also. That brings us to the next point, Robbie, facilities. For all these great horses we have in the stable, we need to have the best possible facilities for them. We've shown plenty of times the facilities that we have at Cranbourne, but you've gone and bought an adjustment property, which will do a little bit of freshening and tread mill work as well, with Joey Ramsden there. So I'll let you talk about that and our high performance.
Yeah, exactly. We've been very fortunate that we have great facilities that we use. But we've also, in addition to what we have at Cranbourne, we've just down the road, we've purchased 80 acres, which is a highly successful property that we've used for many years. We were the first, Sharani and I were the first client there back in when Dandy Kid was a young horse, actually. And he used to rest there. He's actually still retired on the property, our champion of Moonee Valley of 15 wins. And then throughout the years, it's had our Melbourne Cup runner there, Big Pat, and it's had all the many champions. Black Caviar was there, Peter Moody, and many of Mick Price's Group 1 winners. So it's been a property that's been so much success has come off the land, and we were fortunate enough to secure that in the recent months gone by. And it gives Joey a chance. We know his credentials, 30-time Group 1 winner, and with his training skills to complement the horses that are going to be out there, it gives us a chance to freshen them up in between racing. And some of the horses are actually training from the paddock there as we speak. It's only minutes down the road. It's asphalt road. It's very close to our training track, and it gives us an opportunity to do all the things that we do. So everyone knows that we send horses to and from the beach, water walkers, paddock environment. So it just complements everything that we do, and it just gives us more and more opportunities to give our horses the absolute best of everything. That gives us a very holistic approach to everything our horses need. So our owners and our horses have the absolute best of opportunities to win on race day, longevity in their racing campaign, and happy horses run very, very well. And if they're going to be happy in that environment, there's absolutely no doubt about that. And it's been proven many, many times with so many champions before we've purchased the property and we've used it successfully. So a lot of pluses to that, Corey, just to complement everything that we're doing.
Yeah, and obviously, Matt, we put out a thing during the week about the data analysis, but there's a lot of things that we do in our high performance team with analysing the data that you do get, trying different methods with the horses, heart rate monitors, physiotherapy, all that type of thing. How do you find the technology that's used at Griffiths de Kock Racing comparatively to, for example, at your father's stables overseas or in your travels?
Yeah, Corey, I think it's up to date with all the international leading stables, if not slightly ahead. You know, we're doing things in the yard that's we've managed to pick up in our travels overseas that some yards are not doing, and I know that for a fact. So I feel like that we lucky enough to have all this cutting edge technology, but then again, it's also how you use it. You know, so we're fortunate that myself and Robbie have had a lot of experience using most of the gadgets, and but interpreting the information is very important. So it's great, and we really love the data that we're getting.
Yeah, and if everyone stays tuned, I have a really good clip that we've put together with Tim, our video guy. We've put a clip together which will come out sometime before Christmas, which shows a little bit more about Cloverdale and what the stable's looking to do 12 months on from the partnership starting. So that should be good for all of our clients. And we'll go on to the next bit. So the next bit, Robbie, is obviously the Magic Millions. It's not far away. It seems like it was yesterday that we were there going through the catalogues and everything like that. But we've been out on the road a lot. You guys have been out at farms, at luncheons. 40's been up in the Hunter Valley. It's all systems go towards the Magic Millions.
Yeah, it is. It is all systems go. I mean, as everyone's aware, there's a lot of work goes involved to look at 1,200 horses that'll be put in front of us at the Gold Coast. So there'll be no rest for us all. The group of us will be going flat out, and we've already started, as you mentioned, looking at paddocks and properties already, and 40s at the Hunter Valley. But that's what you got to do. So we'll be looking at all the stay-ins, successful and unknown, and first season and everything. And we won't have any sort of preconceived ideas. We'll basically form our opinions as a group as to what we think of them in the flesh first. And then the first season sires will get Pete to look at what the genetic nicks and crosses look like, if there's any successful patterns already in Australia. And then we'll see what sort of vibe we get from overseas, vibe as to how they're racing over there, and then what we think of them in Australia, whether the risk versus reward, whether we tackle those ones. But a lot of it will be based on type and how we feel, so that'll be the most important thing. Matt, would you agree with that? Yeah,
I agree with that. And it's always exciting to see all these first season sires coming through at the new sales, and a couple of them on that list already that we've managed to secure already. So we've already got the ball rolling.
Yeah, we do have a couple of grunt fillies, so keep your eye on the emails coming out in a few weeks. Robbie, we've been really impressed with the grunts so far that we've seen, and we thought, let's beat the market. Last year there were a few first season sires that we got to the sales and we couldn't land them because of the prices. They were really high, so we think we got a couple of bargains with the couple that we bought, which we'll send out in probably after Christmas, I'd say, when people have calmed down from their Christmas shopping. That's for you, Robbie.
Sorry, Corey.
The grunt fillies.
Yeah, absolutely. The grunts are very, very strong, and such a good racehorse with a super pedigree, and they're very, very muscly. We think that they'll run very quickly. They've got a very, very, very strong bodies. The filly out of the half to Written Tycoon looks like she'll just go bang, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. So we will send out those after Christmas, but I thought I'd mention them now. So for anyone to be honest, we think we've got two really good bargains there and great value. So
me and Robbie want to know how we're going to share the Ferrari when we win the Group 1 with Justify.
Yeah, maybe we raffle that off. I thought we could raffle off Robbie's BMW to our clients if they buy a yearling with us, but apparently Robbie needs a car to get around. So unfortunately, he didn't let me do that. But what I've done, guys, I've shared a couple of things up on the screen. What I'm going to do is share a few polls. If you can try and be as active as you can in the polls. So you're not going to be locked into anything. It's literally just for us to have a look and see what people are liking, what your thoughts are, because really our clients are the most important people in the stable. We need the clients there. We need to make sure that we're generally, when you go to the sales with a catalogue of 1,200 horses like there is, Robbie, then there's lots of opportunities there. And if we know what our clients are looking for, then we can be a little bit more diligent when we're looking at those types. But you look at every horse, but it just helps us guide us. And no, we never buy a horse we don't like, but it's just great to know what our clients are looking at. Is that fair to say, Robbie?
Yeah, it's very fair. You like to get a bit of a feel for what everyone's thinking. Definitely, you don't like to bring home horses that people dislike, but I mean, naturally, everyone wants to be keen on what we're going and racing into the future. That's for sure.
Yeah. And Matt, is there any? We looked at some of the first season sires as weanlings at the weanling sale, and obviously you've seen some of them as yearlings now. Are there any that stand out to you? I know that we do have a Harry Angel. We've got a couple of Grunts already, so we obviously like them. But there's every year there's some nice first season sires, but there's also the second season sires last year. The Shalars and all of those guys are phenomenal, and the season before that. So there's so many good young sires in Australia. It's difficult to nail down one, isn't it?
It's difficult to nail down one, Corey. I was a big fan of the Autumn Sun when he was racing, so I'm looking forward to having a good look at a lot of them. And we've heard whispers about the written buys, people saying that they are very nice. Like you said, we bought a Harry's Angel and the Grunts already. Justify, obviously, he was a good racehorse, and Saxon Warrior, he was a good horse too. I'm not sure if he is a first season sire. I remember seeing a couple. It was maybe at the weaning sale, so it might still be. Yeah, but it's very exciting, and we really look forward to it. It's a hard show to live up to, though, because the first season sires over the last couple of years has been exceptional. We were talking about the other day, like Extreme Choice and Flying Artie, and it's going to be a hard task to follow. But anyway, we look forward to seeing them.
Yeah, and I'll bring the next poll up. So we'll just go through the best proven sire in Australia. It was pretty close because there's some damn good ones, but I'm Invincible has just edged out Written Tycoon from our people following. The most valued sire, Robbie, you must have done the voting here because Magnus has won with 61%. That's about your strike rate of stakes races to Magnus's. And the best Victorian sire, Written Tycoon, just edged out Magnus. So there you go. So Magnus has got a good run with our stable clients, and for good reason there. But I've got another one here to launch for everyone. So we're looking for young sires here. Once again, it should just be a little bit of fun for everyone just to do the polls there. But let's get to question time, I would say. So question number one, did any of our team, I'll ask this for you, Robbie, obviously Lauriston Farm, we have our horses there. So did any of our team get to Lauriston Farm in Coronella to see lot 436 in particular, not a single doubt out of Rottermine Colt? I would say that we'll see that at the sales. Would that be fair to say, Robbie?
No, we will if we can afford. Be very expensive, I would imagine. But I remember going down to look at the not a single doubt went during the COVID, and was 200, and I think went to Sydney was 230 or 250, and then went to the Gold Coast was 750,000 or 770. So we actually recommended to a client to try and buy at the weanling sales in Sydney, but was a bit expensive, but would have been a good pinhook. Anyway,
and
there you go. We did go down.
The same question is, I'll ask this to you as well, Robbie. The Swazier out of Gingy, how is she progressing?
Yeah, really well. She was feeling a little bit fresh the other morning and left her rider behind, but she's done a bit of pace work since, and she's actually starting to feel really well now. So she'll have her work sped up a little bit. On Friday morning, she'll have a sprint session. She's very strong, filly, and she's coming along well.
Yep. And Matt, with Dean Yenderwan likely to ride at Sandown this Wednesday, who would be the likely rider for Magnus Eva? That's from Ken.
Yeah, Corey, we'll probably have a look at that in the morning and make a decision on race day as well, because better to leave it probably until race day in case there's any scratchings. If you want to commit too early, and then someone like, if someone, I haven't really seen the field, if Jamie Carr was in the race, for instance, and Pearl Mount got scratched on Wednesday morning and you'd already committed to someone. So we'll probably leave that till Wednesday morning to decide.
Yep. And I'll just finish these polls. So first season sire that's everyone's been liking so far this season is Russian Revolution, just over Hellbent and Merchant Navy, which is quite interesting. Pariah got a few votes there. I would say that would be my pick. The Pariahs in our stable are absolutely flying. And Robbie, I think they could be a really good opportunity with the Autumn Sun competing for that same space. The Pariahs might be good value at the sales this year.
Yeah, they could be. I mean, we really like both stands, Pariah and the Russians. It just depends. The market will determine how valuable they are based on maturity. That's what tends to put a value on the second season stands. Any second season stand that aren't growing quick enough to run in the early 2-year-olds are going to be down in value. That's how the market works. If they don't line up in the big 2-year-old races, the marketplace is very, very hard on them. If they take a little bit longer to mature and become good 3-year-olds, you can buy them cheaper in the second season. So if you like what you see them on the training track and you think they're going to be very good, but not quite be ready in time for those big 2-year-olds, but they're going to be very good 3-year-olds, well, you can actually pick up a bargain. So keep that in mind. We will be keeping that in mind if we really like one of those breeds in training and we see a Pariah or a Russian Revolution or American Pharaoh or one of the ones we have in training sneak under the radar, definitely.
Yeah. And from the second season crop, the outstanding crop, people have said that they like the extreme choices. Now, they were not so easy to buy last year, and I imagine they won't be that easy to buy this year, Matt.
No, they won't, Corey. Like I mentioned earlier, that these first season sires, the last couple of seasons have really achieved great heights. I mean, like Extreme Choice, for example, and Flying Oddie and Capitalist. So the first season sires of this season really have it all to do just to live up to their reputation.
Yeah, and Shalar and Star Turn both got some good votes along with Maurice. So to be honest, we like a lot of those sires. So it will literally come down to, like Robbie said, it will come down to what's in our budget, how many are available. The
amazing thing about being in this country in Australia is your access to worldwide stallions. Not only local Australian bred stallions, you got access to Japanese stallions, French stallions, English, Irish, American. It's unbelievable. When you go race in other countries, they don't have this type of opportunity. So I think owners and trainers and jockeys and staff that get to work with this kind of bloodstock are extremely lucky to be racing in Australia with all these wonderful pedigrees available to them.
Yeah, and with the new sires hitting the yearling sales this year, our fans have said that they are sticking with the Colonial Stallion in the Autumn Sun, but then second is Justify. So they're very different stallions.
They won a Ferrari.
Yeah, they want a Ferrari, I think. So we all want a Ferrari on the racetrack. So I'll finish that poll there, and I've got one more for them to come.
It's a nice picture of the facilities in the background, isn't it?
Yeah, that's our facilities there, the beach on the left, which is Lauriston. And then obviously we've got Maxi Allen there showing off the silks. So Terry says, are there certain types of sires that we are targeting? So I'll give this one to you, Matt. You sort of expanded on it before anyway. Are there certain sires that we would be targeting when we go?
Yeah, it's a tough question to answer because it's an open book answer. We last year we had a very wide variety of stallions that we bought and pedigrees, and I think we're going to do much of the same. We we're not going to zone in on one type. You know, we're going to try and have options available to everyone to buy a type of horse that they like. You know, some people like stayers, some people like sprinters, some people like first season sires, some people like proven sires. So we try and buy a vast array, but most importantly, we try and buy the horses that we love. So, you know, if we fall in love with a sprinting sire, so be it. If we fall in love with a staying sire, also so be it. We're going to buy in the product that we believe in.
And Robbie, the Thomas family has just said, how do you think Tempest Charm will run on Wednesday?
Matt and I think she's a great chance. We thought she'd won last start. I mean, the photo looked like she was first past the post without being awarded the accolades. She was so close. And you would think, jumping up from the 13 to the 1500 with Jamie Carr on board, she's bred to run this distance. She hasn't been over it yet in her career. But based on the way she finished on from back in the field, you would imagine it would suit. And I would have thought that she would be very, very hard to beat.
And sticking with the same sort of topic, Robbie, Paul Robertson says, thanks so much to the whole team. We're so excited about Invincible Crown. Can he win again on Wednesday?
Winning form's good form. It's always hard to, you know, win a hat trick of wins, and could you get re-handicapped? But when horse's confidence is very high like he's got a great endeavour to please. So why can't he? You know, I mean, I think the hardest to beat is the horse that Damien Thornton's riding for obvious reasons. That he was keen to secure that ride, knowing that we might claim, and so keep that in mind. But I think it's a race in two. But our bloke's got his tail up and he's pretty well. So I think that they've got to try and take the race off him at the moment. So why not?
He's actually sixth in the line of betting at 7-1. Yeah, so I've already jumped on. My tip is that's good odds.
Sixth in the line of betting in a field of six.
He's 7-1. There's only one horse that has bigger odds than him.
Geez, what are we missing?
So
we better check him in the morning. See if he's all right.
There's no third dividend, but if it's a race of two, then 3-1 for the place. So
how does that work?
I'm not sure, but that's all right. We're not a tipping service, but if we were, we'd be tipping him. So, Frank says, two-pronged question. Bring the Stars so I'll give this one to Matt. So Bring the Stars was expected to go to Sandown on Wednesday. What is the plan now?
Yeah, Corey, we're probably going to head to Moonee Valley on the 31st. Probably can correct me if I've got my dates muddled up. And then that'll just be a preparing run for January the 15th, the 2,000 meter handicap for 3-year-olds.
Yep. And the second part of his question was when the Cable Bay Regal Gleam filly is expected to come into the Cranbourne stables.
I'll handball that one to Robbie and I'll steal all the limelight.
She will come back. She won't return to training for 3 weeks. And when she does return, she'll do some dressage training and slow work. So she will be 10 weeks before she's back in the main stable.
Yeah, be safe to say she sort of has the same path as horses like Tis My Bay. Is that fair, Robbie?
Yeah, well, she's got to have, she was shin sore, so she needed to have some time for her bones to strengthen and develop. And then she'll do some dressage training and slow work to build a foundation before she comes back into the main stable to speed up her program.
Yeah. With the Cable Bays, just on that, this is a question from myself, but the Cable Bays similar profile to a horse like American Pharoah, where people thought they were going to be fast sprinting type horses, but they actually still have the same quality, but getting over more distance than expected?
Well, they're a totally different sire line, but I think probably the best way to look at Cable Bay is everyone thought they were going to be like the Invincible Spirit bloodlines, like I'm Invincible, and they all thought they were going to be speed horses like that sire line. And when we were educating them, they were very, very, well, they are actually very, very quick. Like, you know, Invincible Crown's got very quick sectionals. So we all thought, oh, they're going to be, you know, those sharp early 2-year-olds. But as we were educating them, they all started to grow, and they went from small horses to quite tall in the next 12 months. So none of them got to the races, and it changed the whole market perspective of them. And like I was saying earlier, all of a sudden, nobody wanted to buy them in the second season. So they went from expensive first season to inexpensive second season. But now we're starting to see them mature as 3-year-olds and run really well. Like we're seeing with Tisma Bay running really well, over 1,800 metres at Flemington leading into the spring, and Invincible Crown winning over 16, yet everyone thought they were going to be speed horses here. So, yeah, sometimes you get breeds different, they run differently to what we all expect on paper, and he falls into that criteria. Well, that's how the data's reading with these progeny.
Yeah. And Kaj Hansen just says, this could be one for you as well, Robbie. Shaz wants to know which one will fit under the Christmas tree. So I might be able to answer. Yeah, but to be honest, Kaj, there's not many left from this year's to go under the Christmas tree. So you might have to get some sort of card that goes under the Christmas tree, giving her a credit for the next season's sales, I'd say, because we certainly will intend on going and buying some nice ones. But there's not too many left. I think we've still got some in that Swazier filly, have we, Robbie? I think we've got some in that. She's a really nice horse. So that's one card that maybe if you want it for Christmas. If not, there'll be plenty coming. So we'll finish that one there. One for Matt, which is 2 people have asked the same, actually 3 people have asked the same question. So just wondering how the Russian Revolution Lady Melksham colt's come back after his little mishap in the paddock during the storm.
No, it looks great. He's healed up very well. Still just having a bit of rest, but the skin has healed up very well, and it just seems like it was all superficial, and it's not going to be a hindrance on him at all. Yeah, and Robbie, so Grant's just asking if it's likely that he would run as a 2-year-old, and whether he'll be back in training soon.
Oh, he'll run as a 2-year-old. It's just a matter of what time as a 2-year-old. No doubt it'll be late season, because we're going to err on the side of caution. We don't want to put his leg under any pressure when it's had an injury. He's in the paddock, as Matt said. It's healing well. It looks all superficial now, but he'll also, talking about the beach, he'll go down after discussion with vets and everything. He'll go down to the beach and do a bit of beach work, because the salt water is always good for that, just to help heal it a bit more. And then we'll do a bit of beach work, and then a bit more paddock work, and probably a bit more beach work. And once he gets all the flexibility and everything back into the superficial part of the skin and everything like that, he'll come back in the normal training. If that puts him in the back end of the 2-year-old season, well, that's when he'll run.
Yeah, and I've just asked a few sales questions there. So a good number of people, 67%, are buying at the sales with us. We've got 90% of people are attending the English Premier, so we will have a marquee there, and I'd say that will be quite busy, as it was last year. We've only got 10% attending the Magic Millions, but just on that, if any of you are needing to be on the Magic Millions mailing list, so obviously everyone will still get everything on our normal mailing list, but we do have an exclusive Magic Millions mailing list. So if you could email me through, I've sent out an email about that, or if you just respond to the webinar email and just say that you'd like to be added to that, we have an exclusive one there. So people will receive messages straight away if they're on that. So if you can let us know, send us through a phone number to send that through. So as soon as we purchase something, that'll go straight to you. And also, if you are attending the Magic Millions, then please get in touch with us, because if you are coming up, then the plan is to make sure that we schedule things for everyone, so you can all have an opportunity to come and see the guys. And we obviously set specific times for people to do that, just to make sure that we don't end up with 50 people at the sales complex at the one time, and we can't obviously give you a good experience. We want to make sure that you have a good one. So just contact me for all of that. I'll be handling all of that client relations type stuff. So just email me through if you want it to be 1 on the Magic Millions mail out list, and 2 if you're attending the Magic Millions. And then the last bit was people actually like to see what we buy and pick out their own horses based on that, Robbie. So that's an interesting result there. 100% of people wanted to look at what we bought and then pick out their own horses from there, which is part of the fun, I think.
Definitely. Yeah, I can understand that.
So I've got a few questions now. So Matt, I'll throw this one to you. What's the progress/plan for Don't Tell the Boss and Written Royalty?
Well, both have started their pre-training work, and Written Royalty was obviously gelded, and he started up now some pre-training work. So it's just with a young horse like him, it's you just kind of go along and see how far he goes in his preparations and etc. But he's definitely a much better horse for the gelding. And Don't Tell the Boss, she'll be coming back into the yard probably within the next 6 to 8 weeks. She'll be back in the yard, and we might look at some of those races down in Adelaide again, Robbie.
Yeah, definitely. And we could even look at talking about the Vobas, because she's got the Vobas, some of those big Vobas days that lead into Adelaide, that they have in the April time frame as well. So that way we're trying to dodge all the better mares in Sydney, and we'll look at the Vobas bonuses going into Melbourne, leading into Adelaide in May, and then look at some of those nice races in June again before we make decisions on what we do leading into the breeding season next year and all those sort of discussions.
Yeah, and Rod Hamilton's just asking about the Belle Esprit 2-year-old, Belle Vargo.
Yep. He's starting to concentrate slowly. He got very, very naughty, hence the reason he's a couple of kilos lighter, literally kilos. They were quite big, his undercarriage, but the vet's taken those away. And once the testosterone starts to gradually go away from him in the next few weeks, he'll be more manageable by the day, so he's getting better all the time.
Yep. And final one, the Thomas family. I'll give this one to you, Matt, because we touched on the international sires, but an update on Peshwa, which is our Tappet colt, and an update on Prince of Cairo, which is one of the American Pharaohs.
Yep, Peshwa has also started up pre-training down in Geelong, where he's going into the Geelong racecourse, a couple of times a week, and going down to the beach in the area as well. He left the yard weighing 478 kilos, and the other morning he weighed 507. So he's put on 30 kilos, and every week in the yard, you just kept growing and growing and growing. So he's a nice, exciting young horse. So he'll be back in the yard probably over the course of the next month or so. And then the American Pharaoh, Prince of Cairo, he's in the yard. He's been doing some pace work, and he's a really nice horse. He's got his father's action and his father's speed. So he's really exciting us at the moment.
Yeah, I've certainly heard around the traps, and you do hear a little bit about what's popular and what's not at the sales. I've heard a few people mention that they aren't sure based on the stats of American Pharaoh, but we're quietly excited about that because the three we have are flying in track work, and the people that probably have them know that they're a good thing. Those that don't have them might not. So it's always interesting what we look at the sales, Robbie, when you know what you have and what you don't have, and what people might have and what we don't know about. It's an interesting dynamic every year.
Certainly is. Yep. Insider trading sometimes.
Like the magnet. So, all right. So that's all of the questions. What we might do is wrap up there, but Robbie, I'll throw it to you now. And basically we might just discuss Christmas, I guess, and your message to all of our clients.
Yeah, absolutely. It comes around quick each year. It's considering we've been locked down, all of a sudden a little bit of time out, and it seems crazy. It's just jumped up on us so quickly. But We just want to say from everyone at Griffiths de Kock Racing, we so much appreciate everyone's ongoing support, and it's been a difficult couple of years, but to see everyone back at the races in recent times, I must say that's given us so much enjoyment to finally see everyone back, gradually filtering back at the races, but certainly coming into the Christmas and the festive season. Enjoy everyone's time with their family. But from us at the stables, we thank you very much for your ongoing support. We'll do our best to win as many races as we can for everyone during this time. And we hope that we buy everyone a fast horse at the Magic Million sales and every sale thereafter. And I'll pass it over to Matt before I steal too much thunder. Sorry, Matt.
Again, yeah, just from myself and Monique, just wishing everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year as well. Made Australia our home over the past 18 months. We've spent 2 Christmases here now, so really starting to feel like home, and starting to get out there and meet everyone as well, which is awesome. And I hope that we can meet some more people, during the year, during the sales season, and I really look forward to that. That's what it's all about as well, is enjoying the ownership and enjoying working with us, the trainers and the team. So hopefully we get to see you in the new year, but until then, just be safe and have a great festive season.
Yeah, I reiterate all of that. I think, Robbie, similar to Matt, my first 12 months with the stable, and I couldn't be more excited about going forward. And it's been a difficult year for everyone with COVID, but this last month or so since we've had crowds back, it really is a racing family with all our clients when we get to the track. So hopefully that family grows over the sales season, and we go with a massive team of horses and people to the track in the next year or so.
Before I sign off, Corey, Sharani, I don't know if everyone knows, Sharani had a great baby shower for Monique the other day, which went really well. That was really good. So Sarah did a great job, and thanks to Sarah for that. And did everyone get to see we got it last night? I don't know if I'm supposed to say it on this forum, but did you see the calendar that Madison made?
Yes, we did. Yes. So there is a calendar, Griffiths de Kock Racing calendar. It was on our Facebook page. It was also sent out. I'll get a copy of it from Sarah to send out in the next mail out as well. But anyone that's interested in that, if they get in contact with admin, I believe, if either myself or admin will be able to point you in the right direction.
Was I supposed to say that, or am I said the wrong?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's good. Good.
I'm a proud dad. It's fantastic.
No, it is really good. It is really good. Sarah's actually got them all sorted. Obviously, Sarah doesn't work with us full time at the moment, so I'll speak to her about exactly how we get our hands on them. I believe they're up Facebook, but I'll also put it in my next mail out as well, so people can get a copy of the Griffiths de Kock calendar.
No, Sharon and I got them late last night, and naturally, Mum and Dad are very proud of what Madison's done, and they look super. So from Sharon and I, once again, Merry Christmas, everyone, and you'll be wrapped when you see the calendar, because it's got all of our champs in there, quarterback and Angelic Light, and even Zoe and Arthur, of course, got to mention.
So we need to get Arthur on the webinar next year. That's my New Year's resolution, is to get Arthur on here. So
trying to get him to sit still will be difficult.
It will be. Anyway, we will finish there. So once again, Merry Christmas to everyone. If anyone has any questions whatsoever on Magic Millions coming up, and of course, like Robbie said, we'll be going to every sale, but that just happens to be the next one. Please contact myself, and I can put you on mailing lists. I can add you to whatever list you need to be on to make sure that you get all of the info at the touch of our fingertips these days. So thanks again, guys, for supporting us, and we'll talk soon.